Okay, we're live.
Right.
Here we are.
Monday.
Oh my goodness. Hello everybody.
Ooh, everyone's here.
Wow. Yeah, surprise, surprise. Everybody is like, okay, what's she talking about? I'm going to talk about it in a little bit. First of all, hello. It is March 28th. It's supposed to be spring, but man, oh man, is it cold out. Hi, Eileen. Rosemarie just asked us if we had snow. We had a little slight kind of like almost snow for a little bit yesterday. Kate up there in Greenfield said that she had some flurries, some little snow. But boy, last night, the wind was intense, and today it still is. Hi, Decker. Hi, Bess. When people come around the corner of the shop, as soon as they get out onto Pleasant Street, it is brutal. That wind is blowing them. Afternoon. Yeah, good afternoon. Hey, Barb. Yeah, very, very windy and very, very cold. But just a couple more days, and then we will be, I hope, back into some warmer weather. Hi, Kathy. So the sweater that I have on is called Ursa, and it is by Jacqueline. I'm not going to pronounce her name correctly, but Cieslak, I think it is something like that. It is right there.
Oh, it's like Cheslick.
Cheslick. Okay, that's the way you say it. I love this sweater. Really fun to knit. And I think it's a bulky weight yarn. It is available for sale on Ravelry, and she actually has done a number of patterns and was instrumental in getting patterns sized to be more size inclusive. She really does include every size all the way up to really, really big. So it's a great sweater, bulky weight, a fast knit. That's what this one is. And I made it out of a wool and cashmere blend from Trendsetter that we had a couple of years ago. So it's also very warm. But I think the design is very flattering with this V neck and the V that the ribbing makes at the bottom. It's really very flattering. So let's say hi, Sally. Hi, Marie. And Maureen's out there in Colorado. Oh, I wonder if it's warmer out there than it is here. Thank you, Decker. Thank you very much. All right. So part of my notes to myself were what happened to March comes in like a lion and goes out like a lamb. We have a little bit of a lion, it feels like this week, but we'll live through it. We'll get over it. We're New Englanders. We're tough. We expect it, right? So I wanted to show you one of the things that I finished. I have talked about this yarn a couple of times. This is the Impress from Trendsetter. It is a cotton and soy blend, and it's a gradient yarn. And I finished the top that I was making out of it, and I wanted to show it to you all. I'm getting stuck on the rug. Here we go. Look at that. I love the way this gradient worked out. Really, really pretty. This is 2 skeins of the Impress, and the pattern is a free pattern online from Barocco. It's called Vincas, Vincas. Free pattern. It is a summer top. Really, yeah, thanks, Eileen. It is really pretty. Very, very pretty and pretty easy. This is a simple seed stitch diagonal, a little bit of a yarn over. This they call a dot stitch, which isn't a yarn over. It's a way of purling and then slipping the extra stitches over it. And then this right here is simply a row of knit one yarn over all the way across the row, and on the next row you drop the yarn over, and so that makes an elongated stitch. Sally, I think you're saying that you just used the yarn for a cowl. Yeah, here it is right here, an elongated stitch. This is 2 skeins of yarn. Hi, Ruth Ann. Yeah, free pattern on Ravelry and done with the Impress. The Impress is the one that is the cotton and soy, and then there's also one called Nuance, which is 100% cotton. So it knit up pretty quickly. Hey, Linda from Indiana. It knit up pretty quickly in that, again, you're doing pattern repeats and you're only doing so many rows of each pattern. So it seems like all of a sudden you're ready to go on to the next pattern right away. And a scarf, Sally. Yeah, it's beautiful. And it has a lot of drape and it's really very soft. It feels really, really good. But this is what I wanted to talk about because this yarn, when I said, hold on to your knitting needles, we've had a number of people talk to me about yarn splitting. And the truth is, yarn is yarn. Yarn can't do anything. It can't split by itself. It's not the yarn that splits, it's the person. And this, it's the knitter. This yarn is typical of a summer cotton weight yarn in that it is made up of a number of different strands of yarn. I think there are probably 1, 2, 3, 4. There might be about 8 strands of yarn in there. And then those are all twisted together. People complain about yarn splitting, not just in cottons, but also in wools. And there are some yarns that are more prone to splitting. Things that have multiple strands that are twisted together are going to split more often than yarns that are a single ply. But again, it's not the yarn that does the splitting. Manufacturers aren't making yarn thinking, oh, well, it doesn't matter. This yarn will split. People won't like it. They want you to love their yarn and to knit with it. So if you are working with a yarn and you are finding that the yarn is splitting more often than you like, then you need to do a couple of different things. And first of all, the first thing you need to do is knit with different needles. I cast on a little sample and I'm using the Chow Goo and they're very pointy. You do not want to use pointy needles when you knit with stranded yarn. And I split a couple of stitches on purpose right here. Because what happens when you work with very pointy needles, it has a very bigger likelihood of piercing the stitch, piercing the yarn like that. And that's what we don't want. So what you want to use are needles that have a more rounded tip. And that kind of rounded tip you're going to find very easily with bamboo, or these are the birch, the like needles, the lichen needles that have a very smooth round tip. That's number one. The duller the tip, the less likely your yarns will split. And then the other thing, I don't say this very often because I don't want to get people upset.
Yeah.
But splitting yarn is also what I often call lazy knitter. And I don't really mean that you're a lazy knitter. I don't really. What I mean is that the other thing that you want to try is to change your technique a little bit. Instead of being a real pointy, needles parallel to each other, and you really point into the stitch, you want to go into the stitch a little more backwards. I'm going to turn this around so that you can see what I mean. Instead of my knitting needle going into the stitch like this, I want to place the tip of the knitting needle against the needle that the stitches are on, and then kind of like slide backwards into the stitch. So needle against the knitting needle and slide. It's almost like you're pushing that needle into the stitch, and then wrap the yarn and pull it out. So I'm knitting backwards. I am holding this correct to you. So instead of trying to go into the stitch with the needle point up, I'm going in really with the needles out like this and go into it backwards. It's going to slow you down a little bit until you get used to it. But when I knit, I'm pulling down slightly on the fabric so that the needle kind of backs into the stitch. The next time you're in the shop, I'm happy to demonstrate for you if you want to see it. But try that. If you are having trouble with yarn splitting a lot, then try a more rounded needle and a little smoother rather than a jab. It's more of a back into it, so that you're catching the entire stitch rather than splitting the stitch.
Yeah, maybe we can put up a little video.
Yeah, sometime this week. Yeah. I'll do a little video of that and put it in our YouTube files so that you can see over my shoulder exactly what I'm talking about. That's just my opinion in defense of yarn.
I know what you call it, a sneak attack.
A sneak attack, yeah. Back into it. Yeah. Sneak up on it. It won't know what you're doing. So the other thing that I wanted to show you, we don't have a lot to show you today, but I did want to talk about, Bonnie is back in town. Woohoo! She's just here for a short time. But before she left, I gave her one of our new yarns to knit one of Bonnie's famous shawls out of this. And she came back with it all done. This is another, I'm just looking to see. Yeah, it is another free pattern on Ravelry. And this one is called the Kindness Shawl. And I forgot to write down who designed it. It's an older pattern, so when you first see it on Ravelry, it says that it's not available from one source, but click on the that highlighted place on Ravelry where it says free Ravelry pattern. This is done with one skein of the Butterfly BFL from Dream in Color. So we have it in both solid colors and we have it in slightly marled colors. This is the color that Bonnie did in that shawl. And then we have some deeper colors as well. So one skein of this, it's got 420 yards and it is a fingering weight. And Bonnie, of course, it wouldn't be Bonnie if she didn't put the beads in the shawl as well. Can you see them? Are they showing up where the beads are? Well, Bonnie also gave me a copy of the diagram showing where she put the beads in. So we will be able to share that with you. We'll make copies of it. And if you are so inclined to put beads in, I think she did a great job of choosing where to put them. It really is pretty. And I cannot tell you how very soft this little shawl is. And it's a perfect size. So you can wear it both just over your shoulders like that. You don't even have to pin it. But yeah, I think it really does show up nicely. Yeah. That lace pattern is really, on your sweater really pretty. And you can also wear it as more of a bandana-like with either a tie or a clip in the back to keep it on. Yeah, Bonnie, it's really, really pretty. I really like it a lot and really very soft. I was a little bit afraid because this is not a superwash. It is Blue Face Licer, which is a pretty silky feeling yarn, but then the yarn also has some cashmere and some silk blended in. So it really feels nice. Kate, this is on the website, right? Oh, the yarn is on the website. And later on, Kate will add this pattern. I'm not sure that it's up there yet because she didn't know I got this from Bonnie, didn't know that Bonnie was back in town. But what Kate has been working really hard on doing on the website is when you click on a yarn, a specific yarn, if you scroll to the bottom, she's been putting up some pattern suggestions for that yarn to help you see what it looks like and maybe help with your decisions. So we will link this pattern to the Blue Face Licer, to the BFFL. Not BFF, just the BFL. The Butterfly BFL is what it's called, by Dream in Color. And all of the colors that we have in stock are up there. And hopefully we can entice you into making a quick little shawl project before we get into summer. None of the lace is all that difficult. It is a pretty repetitive lace pattern. This one up here might be a little bit different than anything that you've tried, but nothing that I don't think a somewhat experienced knitter could do. So that is new. And while I was talking, I thought about something else. And of course, now I can't remember what that was. Oh, of course I can.
I can help.
No, I needed to look and see where, because I left hints for myself all over the place. Okay, so Bonnie says it's a pretty easy pattern, but most of you will go, yeah, Bonnie, the lace queen. It's not that difficult. You could do it. So I did a box opening little Facebook Live the other day, and I wanted to show you one of the new yarns that we got in. I am knitting and preparing to write the free April pattern that will be coming out after next Monday. And the yarn that I'm using is one of the new cottons that we got. This is from Mirasol, and it's called Wink, WINQU. We do already have it up on the website, but we don't have the pattern yet because I'm working on it. So this is a cotton and silk. It's 85 cotton and 15 silk. My eyes don't want to work today. And it's 185 yards for 100 grams skein. It is a textured cotton in that when you are knitting with it, you will see that it has some thick and thinness. The thickness isn't real thick, but it does create a little bit more of a bumpy rather than a smooth, flat look. So this is the Wink. It is from Mirasol. I can't even tell you how many skeins, but I know it's going to be more than one that this next project is going to be. So we have it in orange. I must have been in a real orange mood because I ordered orange in every single cotton that we got.
Well,
it's just it's so pretty. It's so pretty. If you haven't knit with orange, you need to try it. We got the lime green.
Oh, those are my two favorites.
And don't they look great together?
Yes.
All right, those two. We have white and off-white, if you can see the difference there, because some people are a real summer pure white and some people are more of a, that's too harsh. I want something a little softer. So we got both the white and the off-white. And the periwinkle, because that's the spring and summer, which could also read as a lighter blue, like the lilac. And the lilac. This, I will tell you, this is the color that I'm using for next month's design. I'm hoping that we can get away with 2, but it might be 3 skeins of this because it's a slightly larger project, but an easy knit. And then a silver that is so hard to get in cotton. Any kind of gray is nearly impossible for the manufacturers to dye correctly, but boy, they did a great job with this silver color right here. So I wanted to show that to you today. We did get some other cottons, but this is the one that's coming up that I'm really going to be focusing on next week. So we've got that on the shelf ready for you to look at. Look at that nice little collection. So very summer colors. I did not get any of the really darker, heavier colors. We got just the fun summer ones. So that's actually all that I had on my list today. It was going to be kind of a short day. We are waiting for a couple of other things to come in that I'll be talking about later. I'm going to be here next week. We'll be doing lunch with Linda.
There's a comment from Linda Williams, and I'm not sure what she's talking about.
She's talking about the embroidered needle book, which we do still have plenty of those kits available as well. And the week after that, it's going to be the Kate and Beth show because I'm going to be gone. We think Beth may not be here. She might be working another job, but we'll see. So Kate might be on her own. But that's basically it, I think, for today.
Let me get that link in.
Okay, Kate's going to put that link up, and I'm going to talk about, I don't know what. What? Oh my God.
All right, hold on. Needle pouch.
Anybody have a question?
They can see it after, I think.
All right.
Yeah, because actually, I don't see it on the website.
Okay, so Linda, she'll get that up today, and it will be on the website available for purchase a little bit later on. Somehow we missed it.
I don't know what's going on with that one.
But we'll find it and we'll put it up. Oh, yeah, I know what I was going to talk about, blocking. I was going to talk a little bit about blocking because right behind me, that's what triggered my memory. These big colorful squares right here are, they sell them as floor cushioning. And grab the needle book. And will you grab one of those too? There. So they're really meant to lock together like this. Oops. They lock together so you can make them as big as you want, like that. And then you're supposed to put them on the floor and then put whatever covering over it to, like a garage floor or a cellar floor, a hard floor to help cushion it. But we use them for blocking. This is what I use at home because I can stick the pins right through the piece that I'm blocking into this. It's not rubber, it's plasticky kind of foamy kind of thing, over and over and over and over again. And I can put as many as I need together, but 2 gives you a pretty decent size. And I do a lot of blocking right on top of my washer and dryer. So we have gotten a bunch of them in, and we're selling them in pairs, basically, for $10 a pair. And we've got the different colors in as well. So if you need something to block on, we're putting some up in the window to demonstrate how you use them. And we've got them here for your convenience. Yeah, Bonnie uses them too. They really make it great. And this is what we're talking about for the needle book. It's a little embroidery kit, but when you open it up, there's a little piece of felt fabric that you stick your sewing needles or embroidery needles or your sharps, and keeps them all in one place and keeps them sharp and clean. Eileen uses the mats as well. So we've got them if you need them. That's what I use all the time. We'll be demonstrating it in the window, and hopefully. And I always, yeah, Barbara, that's a good question. Yes, Bess, it's a book to store your needles in. So Barbara's asking, do I use a towel with the blocking blocks? And my answer to that is yes and no. When I initially take something out and it's wet, I will put a towel on top of the mat, pin it down, and I usually only let it sit like that overnight. And then I take the towel off. Otherwise, it's going to really take forever to dry. So a better way, you don't need to put a towel on the rubber mat. They are water resistant and easy to clean. Usually just put the wet thing down, pin it down, and then I might cover the top with a towel. But where I really use the towel is when I first take a wet thing out of the sink, squeeze the excess water out of it, put it in a towel, and then walk on it.
Oh my God.
So that the towel absorbs the water.
I did that with my Peru tweed calliope,
and
I could not understand. It was like I dipped the towel in a bucket of water. So much.
How much water came out? It's amazing.
When I put it in a pile and stepped on it instead
Yes.
of laying it flat.
Yes. Just pile that knit piece up,
I was shocked.
walk on the towel, and that squeezes out more water than you can possibly squeeze out with your hands.
Yeah.
That's when I really use the towel. If it's a really small thing like a hat or something, I pin it down on top of a towel on there. It just sort of depends on how fast I think it's going to, or how long it's going to take too dry. Okay, so those are our new things today, and that's about it. Our ranunculus class met Sunday, and everybody is doing really great. So we'll have those to show. And watch the Instagram post. I'm going to post this afternoon. Molly Maturo came in with her finished, and I took some pictures, her finished sea glass sweater. So you'll definitely want to see that. All right, guys, I did it again. So we'll see you next week. And don't forget to go knit something, because I can't wait to see it. Bye.